Welcome everyone. This is Zeffie Davy and this is my YouTube channel. And of course with me is Grandmother Songbird, and we skipped a month. Come on. Actually, we didn't skip a month, we skipped the moon. we got so really busy and we were so involved in the things that we were doing. Of course, you know, I was traveling. I was actually in Sedona at that time of the moon, and then I had to come here to south of France. So I don't know why you skipped the moon, but for me it was I was traveling.
I don't know. I was super busy too. And I consciously remembered the moon.
Me too.
And, I did my rituals and stuff. I just didn't put anything out. And I was like, wait, I forgot my newsletter. So I apologize for all my subscribers.
And the same thing for me. I apologize for us not having that energy of the week of the moons, but I think it's a reason. Sometimes we have to go with the flow, and I think also the moons makes us learn how to go with the flow and not feeling guilty of what we don't do. Correct? Because it's also good for all of you that watch us and the subscribers that we have to really start following your inner guidance in a sense, because I think we're going towards that. Every moon that we're getting towards, I feel that we're going closer and closer to following our inner guardians. Our inner guidance. Because things can happen in life, and you got to start listening.
Yeah, and it's kind of that whole I think we're finding the balance between our our real life, and then social media and all that stuff, because when you start getting all tied into that, it can take over so much of your time and energy that you neglect other parts of your life too. And I think like finding that balance in this modern age is going to be very key. And especially like the last few days, something I was thinking about this moon is it's really caused me to slow down, because I've had a lot of delays, a lot of technical issues, a lot of things that were outside of my control. And so I had to just say, okay, well, it's just not the time yet. It's just, I gotta wait. I gotta just go with it.
Well, look what happened to me. My Facebook was hacked. The whole thing was gone. Everything was gone. All my, 5,000 people that I had, my pages with, like Women Rising page with 1,200 people, my ancient healing school, it's all gone. So I have a new Facebook, guys, if you want to really start following me, or actually even Instagram, which is Zeffie Davies, not the full name anymore. So maybe it's just about us letting go. And that's what happened the previous month, the previous moon. We had to just learn how to let go and release, and really not just worry about it, because new things will open up and new things will happen.
I think perfect for this moon, because I guess last moon it was a new moon, so it was a void anyway, and it was a restart because we just had the eclipses that were very powerful that we were talking about, and now we're in the strawberry moon, which I was talking about is the end and also a beginning, because in the Tonopoali it's the month of flowers, and it's not just the flowers like what we're flowering, but it's based on the flowers of the past of our ancestors and all of the sacrifice and struggle that they had to make in order for us to just survive, so that we can flower. And then eventually, if we flower like to the fullest potential of who we are, we fruit. And the fruit lays down all those seeds for the generations to come. And it's not every lineage that fruits, because in the teachings, it's like many years of sacrifice, struggle from the ancestors before to get.
Anyway, we're going to start not all over, but we're going to start it where we left off, because we had a little interruption on the internet. I'm in Saint-Marie de la Mer, and we don't want to lose the flow to go from the beginning. So please understand that little, how you say, pause in between, but we're here. And then we always laughing with the Songbird.
I know, I was talking and you were like really into it, and I was like, she's not moving. Just like, I think I lost you.
We have to go with the flow. Not everything can be perfect because we are perfect no matter what, even with those little things happening. So go ahead, finish what you were saying about that.
I was telling you, I've been having internet problems and delays and all that, and that was like a perfect demonstration of what this energy has been like for me. Like, there it
Okay.
goes again.
Well,
But you know what it reminded me of is like all those things is exactly how you have to let go of control and flow, because life happens, and when it happens you can either get all frustrated and or you can just be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just wait for Zeffy to come back, or
or whatever.
that was just our example. But otherwise I'll be like, oh no, what's wrong with this thing? It's not working.
Well, I was trying
I'll
to
just
fix
wait.
it. I didn't get frustrated a little bit. I was like, oh, but that's okay. We came back on. And it's about us learning how to go with the flow and really not having any worries about it. And not, like I said, it's not about everything being perfect, because it is perfect the way it's coming. Maybe the interruption was there for a reason, but we came back on, and you never know the reason, because, when I left and we were here, in San Maria de la Mer for the 24th through the 27th of May, which is the big celebration. And then we left and we went up to Rennes, which we stayed there with some friends. And it was just a totally eye opener of this new energy of Mary Magdalene, correct? Mm-hmm. And then from what I knew, 17 years that the first time I went there to like what I know now, it's totally different, and it makes a lot more sense now. I have a better grasp of it. And also I end up getting a better grasp of Sarah, the saint here in San Maria de la Mer. So when we were up there at Rennes, we decided to come back here because we had 4 days before I get back to Greece. And I was telling my friend as we're driving back, it was like, there's something's going to happen in the church. There's something's going to happen in San Maria de la Mer. I don't know what it is. And it was today. I walked into the church, the guy that is kind of cleaning the church and stuff like that is a gypsy that has been there for over 20 years. He's actually Greek, Orthodox, not actually Catholic, but he follows Sarah because of the gypsies. She's the saint of the gypsies. And he just told me the whole story. We connected with eye contact. He was actually vacuuming the church. And then he was making a lot of noise, and people were upset because of all the noise again. and then he sat and we're talking, and this lady came next to us and said, shh, don't talk, because we were loud talking. And he's like, I'm making noise. This is what it is. Don't worry about it, And then he gave me this whole story. And then I went back. He said, come back in the afternoon, towards the evening. And I went back, and he gave us the water from the well that the Marys were drinking. That's why they were in that crypt. So, and then we went in the back, and then they gave us, where Santa Sara, they give her like scarves and different things to wear and she likes the color azul, which is the same color as my curtain, this color, which is kind of funny. I'm looking at yeah. It's that turquoise, the throat chakra energy. Mm-hmm. So he just gifted us with all these things. And my friend said, I was witness. I was here. It wasn't a lie. It just happened to us. So sometimes you never know why you go back to places. This is part of, I think, the full moon energy, that we have to go back. And really, I feel that you go back and you learn more. You go back and you connect to more things.
Yeah. I think a lot of people I've been talking to too said they've been having releases this last week, like a lot of emotional releases and purging, and having a sense that they needed to go back to their childhood home or go back to a place they hadn't been to in many years. It's like you were saying, going back. But when you go back, you have a new understanding, like you were talking about, a new perception, new wisdom. You've grown from that time. And now you look back and you I think the word I want to say is resolution. You're finding like resolution.
And also going forward, because
Yeah.
by really understanding the past, you go back, you go forward with new understanding, with new perceptions, with new ideas, with like new things that you go, oh my God, 15 years ago I did not know that. Now I know better because I sit and listen, maybe, or I sit and do my work, or I sit and just breathe, even that is part of it.
Yeah, it's like that. Because the eclipse was so powerful, those last two eclipses we had, that we truly are walking in a new energy.
Yes.
And in order to walk fully into that new energy, we have to find peace and resolution with where we've been and what has happened and completion. I feel like the strawberry moon is really about completion and also the beginning of a real harvest. Many doors are about to open in that solstice energy in the next couple weeks, but I think these next 2 weeks are going to be very key to that big door opening.
Well, I think for a long time now, for the past couple of years, we've been on this cross path and this crossroad.
Yeah, that's crossroads. Dang crossroads. I always tell people that's when they meet me is when they're at the crossroads.
Yeah, and a lot of people are been in that, correct? Because they don't know where to go or what to do or what's happening with all this new stuff, and our bodies cannot handle those new energies. As we're talking, you just got to sit and make room in your body for these new energies to come in. Otherwise, the miracles don't happen.
Yeah, you got to make it a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like too, along with that is going to be risk. Like you risk going back, not knowing why you're going back, but knowing something good is going to happen, but you don't know what that is. And then and then there's just that confirmation.
Yep.
These blessings flowed. The guy was super loud, so you could hear it. It's like you had to look and what's that?
Yeah, and
And
because
it
of
was
the
like,
vacuum cleaner, I looked at him, but I wasn't upset. He looked at me back and we smiled at each other. And then we
yeah,
had this connection, and he's like, okay, I'm going to sit down and talk to you. It felt like that. So it was really bizarre. I mean, he's Greek. He knew a little bit Greek when I heard I was Greek, so it was a little bit of like he's actually Greek Orthodox. And it was like, you don't know why you catch someone's eyes, and why, instead of like saying, oh God, this vacuum cleaner is bothering me because I can't meditate, or I cannot pray. Oh, this vacuum cleaner was there for a reason.
it was there to catch your attention so you could have that connection and bring you in. That's the thing I was talking about in one of my lives, is that when you go to meditate, every noise possible starts, right? Helicopter, TV, somebody screaming out, vacuum, something. And people are like, I can't meditate. And it's like, that is the meditation.
Exactly.
You're supposed to continue meditating despite every distraction in the world.
But of course, they're going to say, well, we can, but it takes practice. It takes practice and grounding for us to meditate through this chaos around us. So you
Yeah,
can't
and that's
imagine being in meditation through this chaos that's happening. That
and
is
that's training.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the real life training, right? Because yeah, of course you would want to go to work and sit and everything go like that, but it never does. Everything's your boss is yelling, or this is happening. Coworkers are breaking down, layoffs are happening, whatever is going on, and you have to remain in that space.
Yeah.
That's the real training of meditation, because
And also not be attached.
to detach, yeah, that's
Not
the
to be attached to meditation, but to be detached to meditate. That's weird, isn't it?
yeah, it's like to just detach
Yeah.
from everything. And that's the real training, right? Because we attach to everything. We attach to an outcome of this, of that, of da, da, da. We're always grasping. And I think that's the key with meditation. And that's the focus, is when you can just fully surrender to the moment. And you never know what that moment will bring.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be in meditation. It have to be just being, so we can shift that life of struggling and going and trying to get it, instead of like just being. So I think this moon, this full moon, is going to be a very interesting full moon.
Yeah, and that's the thing I was saying earlier before when the thing froze, is that, it took generations for us to come to this point to flower. And so many flowers are blooming this month. And this moon is going to be how when the flower just goes from that tight bud to,
Yep.
and just imagine what that must feel like for that flower to go from being all tied up like this. And like you were saying, to make space in your body is like, and then this beautiful fragrant flower emerges.
I feel like that, and I think we talked about that with the eclipses. Remember, I said there was a circle of 30 years in a couple of videos ago, and I think we want to actually ask our subscribers, do you had that happen? Like you felt like you were ending a 30-year cycle, because I think this full moon, it will show them this whatever they had let go of the 30 years, and so they can make it whole again. Please, give us, write something underneath, let us know if actually those things happen into your life, because I think it's important for us to know what's happening to you as we're doing these videos, so we know what's happening to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you'd have to be over 30 to participate.
Doesn't matter. You have to bring our age there.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, if you're under 30, don't participate.
If you're under 30, there's going to be that. Especially on my TikTokers, they'll be like, I'm not even 30 yet. But maybe, but it's true. Like you think about, even if you just think about what was going on in your life like 3 years ago when this really began in 2020, where the real life-changing moments happened for everybody. It's kind of an interesting thing because we all went through the same process.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like universal. If you were here 3 years ago, you went through this process of massive change and awakening and a struggle because the whole world changed. And now here we are 3 years later. And I thought it was really interesting because in a very quiet note that probably many people missed, they announced that the pandemic was over. And I thought that was really interesting because it was like nobody really paid attention to it. I saw a very small glimpse of some video that said the pandemic was over. And I was like, okay, 3 years later. But there hasn't been any like real talk about what happened, how the world changed, how we as individuals changed, how many people still haven't come outside. There's so many things that are emerging, and I feel like this summer, especially for those who are like traveling and stuff, it's like monumental. I think there's a huge surge of people leaving and going and traveling and doing and experiencing. And this marker of time is like the beginning of that whole season of going back to the things that we really love.
And
in a new way.
I never stopped traveling anyway, even during the pandemic. But I think we need to get out of the fear and just move forward, because we have other things to take care of. It's overdone. I only heard it once. Like I think I was in Sedona when they said, "Oh, this is over," and that said, it was no big deal. But yeah, you're right. It has how do you say? Have a lot of people been through a lot, so that's also, we need to give them the support to actually, not to have a fear about it, and to move forward with our life and having fun and enjoy it, and get out of that big fear that it was put on us all that time, because there's other things now that's over. There might be a new one, but anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
No, but I just thought it was a very interesting thing, and then this moon comes as like kind of the end and the beginning of a new chapter, because that was an end to a three-year time period of massive change.
On the now, day, you mean, when between the eclipses?
Yeah, the eclipses, but also like what happened in 2020. Yeah. And then the eclipses kind of come to stir a new energy. but we still have to find resolution to what just happened and move, like you said, beyond the fear of it in a new and different way, and how now we can integrate and process. And a lot of people during that process have launched new lives.
Yeah.
A lot of people got divorced, started new careers, got married, had children, like huge monumental changes happened, and a new way of thinking and operating in the world.
Well, this changes are never going to be done. We're going to continue through some more changes right now. But,
Yeah.
like you said, the monumental for people's lives, because we left an old world that we don't want to be part of it anymore. And I think we need to go to the new one. So any other kind of tips we can give them for this full moon? What do you think?
I would say like this is the perfect moon to really do that internal work of like you said, finding resolution and completion with where we've been, and look at the new changes coming and empower them. Because we're about to head into the next chapter of 2023, which is more of an action chapter, because we're heading into the time where we're thinking about our harvest, what's coming, what do we want to fruit by this fall time, and what is going to empower that, right? And in the Tonopali, they call it discipline.
Oh, well, this is going to be the year of discipline, the other half. Okay. All right. This, this full moon is about discipline. And I would say let's don't make it such a military kind of structure of
No.
discipline, but maybe make it more of grounding, of really making your, be conscious about the work you're doing, and actually just being disciplined within yourself to get the task done, whatever the task might be, even if it feels very tedious, in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Another thing is like nurturing.
Mm.
You're going to nurture your dreams. You're going to, because you don't just plant a seed and say, okay, see you in the fall. If you have a seed, you have to water it and make sure it's in the right proper soil. And, some people sing to it, and, you're going to nurture that, right? That's the same thing like discipline. It's the daily in and out things that you do that, I think in the West, we have this really like regimented way of thinking of discipline. But in the ancient ways, discipline was how you got your fruit.
Yeah. That's
My
true.
cat's purring, sorry.
That's okay. It's about how you harvest, planning,
Right.
discipline to get something to eat, and spirituality is also food for the soul. So we have to nurture that and really have discipline with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we have to turn it off and change that, energy around it, because I think a lot of spiritual people, that's where we struggle, because we want to be free flowing, and there's like that balance between being free flowing and intuitive and also being structured.
mm-hmm.
Because without it, we're not grounded, we're flying around.
Exactly. I have to tell you, the other thing that happened here in San Marie de la Mer, I saw the kitty and it reminded me, I saw little Pomeranians everywhere. So
Oh,
getting a little dog soon. Just to let you
oh, yay. I know.
know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to say thank you for watching us again, and thank you for participating, and thank you so much for subscribing and sharing our video, because we like that to go everywhere. And yes, we're not that disciplined sometimes, like we missed it last month, not because we didn't want to do it. We thought about it, but we just both got really busy, and we were two different parts of the world that I wasn't able to connect on time. So on that note, thank you so much for watching us. Thank you, Songbird, again. This has been amazing to connect with you. And bye, little kitty. She's so cute. Thank you so much.